Have you ever looked in the mirror and realized the person staring back isn't the one that you expected to become? That's where real transformation begins, not with new goals, but with new awareness. My guest today, Dr. Rhonda M. Farrah, calls this Fix Your Reflection First, and she's helping people all over the world turn their pain into power. Her work has actually touched so many lives, from private clients to sharing stages with Oprah and Melinda Gates. So this is an episode to help you rewrite your story. All right. So, Dr. Rhonda, I think, as I just highlighted to you, that after reading your introduction, I think I was mesmerized by your work. Your work has touched so many lives, you have gone from private clients to stages, sharing stages with popular names like Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates, which is interesting. But I'm curious to know, and for the listener who wants to now, to get on to plant a seed, I'm curious to know how did this journey of yours, how did your own journey lead to the philosophy of fix your reflection first?
I'd be glad to talk about that. Well, I have plenty of credentials educationally and otherwise. My real credentials are the credentials of my life.
Right.
And that's why in 2005, I made the switch from psychotherapist and that toolbox to lifestyle empowerment, alchemist, coach, author, and speaker. And many say, well, what is an alchemist? And what do you do? And through my escapades in life, they all began they began farther back, but visibly from midlife on. They helped me to understand, for Rhonda, what alchemy is. And alchemy is a precursor to chemistry. I am not a left brain person by any means. However, what I do is help people take their joys, and most especially their sorrows, the adversity, the struggles, the challenges in their life, and make it work for them rather than anything less. And that's what alchemy is. It's understanding that whatever situation, circumstance, or event, we are whole, perfect, and complete, just the way we are. How we are not set in a certain arena just because of the past and situations, circumstances, and events. We are, in fact, seeding. Hence, here we are at your podcast, seeding. And people who will be listening to this or viewing it or both, they're not here by accident. They found us and we found them, so that certain things can come to light for them, because that's where the process of fixing your reflection first and living your best life ever begins. It begins right here in heart space, which produces our thoughts, which produces our external world.
Interesting. Sounds simple, but at the same time, it requires you to really reflect and understand the essence, search for that essence of how you say it starts here, and it goes on and on. And so it's important to now look back inwards instead of always just looking outwards. And I'm also noting that, there's a turning point in your life that has either professionally or personally that made you realize that reflection and not necessarily reaction is the key to growth. That point of even moving from a psychotherapist to become an alchemist and a public speaker and everything. So I'm curious to know what is that point in your life, either professionally or personally, that made you realize, it's not always about reacting. No, sometimes it's about, go back inwards and think so that I can grow.
Yes. Well, Manuel, for years and years, I thought I would catch my reflection in a pane of glass or mirror, and I would say, oh, Rhonda, you are so intelligent, articulate. You're wonderful. You're so attractive. And did I really mean it? And through a series of events in my life, when you say, well, what was the turning point? I mentioned 2005. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought, come on, me? I'm an avid runner, and I've been a runner for 50 years. Not running as quickly these days, but my point is, it was unbelievable. And it was a turn of events that caused me to look inside. Being the psychotherapist that I still am and was primarily, I dealt with the emotional and the cognitive aspects of ill-being or well-being. And once I dove a little deeper into that, because of my disbelief that of all people, I have breast cancer, I understood that incidence, and research bears this, incidence of breast cancer in women. Men have breast cancer too. Incidence of breast cancer in women is that we are unable to nourish or nurture ourselves. Great. When it comes to everyone else, we really are. And I would have to raise my hand high when it comes to, I'm that candidate. But did I realize it? No. And did I realize I wasn't nourishing and nurturing myself? No. Everything was great. And I took a hard look. Let me put it that point. I took a very different look in the mirror. And that's hence the brand, fix your reflection first, because that's where it all comes from. When we look in the mirror, two things, and you mentioned don't react. I don't believe in reacting. I believe in responding. But when we look in the mirror, what are we seeing? Because whatever we're seeing, that reflection is coming right back on us. Coming right back on us in actually every area of our life.
Right.
And our relationships, our health, personally, professionally, and business-wise. So what are we seeing, and what are we to learn from what we see in the mirror?
Right.
So first you have to look in the mirror. And, that's not for the timid. Many people can't look in the mirror. And when you look in the mirror, who and what do you see?
Yeah.
Are you treating yourself and seeing a person that you can love, that you can like, that you can appreciate, that you can respect, that you can esteem? Because whatever is looking back, whoever is looking back at you, you're going to attract into your life. I made the comment that we called each other forward. We attracted each other because of what we talk about, the seeds. Yeah. And we are not set. We are still seeding. We're always seeding.
I agree.
You may not realize it, but that subconscious mind knows. So that's hence why it is so important to look in your mirror, and until you can love, respect, esteem, appreciate yourself, you're going to attract to yourself. It's more than even attracting. You're going to assume for yourself much less. And I'm here to help people understand that they can attract the very best in every area of their life. In 2005, with that incidence of breast cancer, and there was something on this end of it and something on that end of it that said, oh no, you got to keep going here with situations, circumstances, and events, because there is much more for you to learn. So in my midlife, there was much more for me to learn. I'm still learning. At 67, I'm still learning today, and I like it. It's good. When I was going through certain things, I didn't like it. And I'm sure I'm like most people, when we're going through that not so good stuff in life, that crap, you're saying, why? I invite you, don't say why, say what. What is it that I am supposed to learn? What is the blessing? What is the gift in this situation or circumstance? And that's how I moved forward. And that's actually when I became dedicated to awakening hearts, minds, and most especially spirit to our innate power from within, our authentic power from within. Emmanuel, that's the power to thrive and not merely survive.
Powerful. I like the whole aspect that it's, as you have already stated even before, it's not self-reflection is not about self-criticism. It's more about seeking clarity. It's more about seeing and being able, because I like the way you said, whatever that you will understand from the image that you see on the mirror, that's what you will carry. And so if it's negative, then it will take you on a downturn. It will take you on a downturn, on a negative side. But if you are seeing something positive out of all of this, then it's taking you on the other side. And even you had this incident in 2005, and you could have chosen the other way, but you chose to see the positive light of it, the positive side of it, which is very powerful. And I'm curious because often people we resist reflection, especially when we're in challenging situations, we're in painful transitions, like as you say, midlife changes, as we can say, when people are supposed to change careers or something. And or even when someone is having a career burnout, or when someone is experiencing a personal loss, or whatever that requires us to transition, but it's painful. We don't really remember about reflection and all that. So I'm curious to know, why do you think people often ignore reflection in these painful transitions?
Well, deep within, I think each of us, that something's coming up for us, some feelings. And again, I only believe in two feelings, fear and love. So if we're operating from fear, we're going to produce certain thoughts, and it will create our external world. People resist, and incidentally, what we resist persists. Resisting, you're just going to get more to help move you along to be your highest and best self, to live the life you desire, maybe even the life you dream about. But I'm no stranger to this. I'm not immune from any of this. The resistance is to change. Well, change. That's a terrible word. Okay. And to put, oh my goodness, but I'm complacent. Everything's going great. So why am I shifting in my seat? Why am I not as happy as I should be with all these great things happening? Because once we get to a certain point, change is inevitable. So we can be the highest and best and nothing less. And so to answer your question, the short version is change. Who likes change?
It's
change, relocation. Oh my goodness. Divorce. I've had a couple of those. And why? Stop with the why. I invite our listeners and our viewers to say, what am I learning with everything that's happening? Don't say, why is the victim?
Why is it happening to me?
We slip into victim. Okay. And the blame and shame game starts from everyone around us to God, to everything. Why, God? Why? And why doesn't everyone else change? Why do I have to change?
Right.
Well, the reality of it is we cannot change anyone but us.
Right.
Watch and see when you make some changes in your life, and I did. Watch and see how everyone around us changes, and they do. Oh yes, change is compound. It's right up there with forgiveness. Oh boy, does that get a bad rap, forgiveness. I'm often asked, well, lifestyle empowerment alchemist, how do you live a lifestyle that's empowered? How do you live an empowered life? So, you mean the life you'd like to live? Perhaps dream about, the life you desire? I have, as an alchemist, I have the formula, of course. Gratitude plus forgiveness equals living an empowered life. And many of us practice gratitude. I do, morning, evening. Okay, people go along with that when it comes to forgiveness. Total bad rap, forgiveness. Of course, it must start with yourself and the mirror. But if I may, I'll give our listeners a little tool when it comes to forgiveness. And I invite those listening to use this part of the formula, forgiveness. I want you to write a letter. Write a letter to yourself, first of all. And it'll go something like this. I'll use myself. Dear Rhonda, I've been meaning to write to you for some time. First of all, how are you? Rhonda, do you remember when you called forth prison, called forth breast cancer, called forth divorce, called forth financial collapse? I know you didn't mean to hurt me. I forgive you. Must begin with yourself, if you choose. And the next piece of that exercise is think of someone who has hurt you, who has harmed you, and you must write them a letter. I'm not talking about digitally, do it in your handwriting. And when I say that to a client or an audience, you must write them a letter forgiving them. I see that shifting in the seats. I see, oh no, I'm not doing that. I could never forgive them. I can read their mind. I said, well, here's the thing. You don't have to mail the letter. Okay, sigh of relief, but you must write it. Dear so-and-so that has hurt me, I have been meaning to write to you for some time. First of all, how are you? Do you remember when you cheated on me, when you caused my financial collapse, when you contributed to all that not so good stuff that was happening in my life, when you disrespected me? I know you didn't mean to do it. I forgive you. Write the letter. It's extremely freeing. It's a release just to write it. After you write these letters, you can do what you'd like. You can save them. You can rip them up, set them on fire. You can do what you want with them. But the point is you wrote them. And forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for us. Continue to harbor non-forgiveness, resentment, sadness, anger, disappointment even towards another. And all you're doing is hurting yourself. That's it. Someone very wise once said, non-forgiveness is like ingesting poison and thinking the other person will die. It doesn't happen. You're ingesting the poison. You're swirling it around within you. It'll cause disease, and it will cause you to stay. I don't even like the word stuck. It will cause you to spiral down the rabbit hole nobody wants to go down.
Right.
So it's extremely important to think about what's happening as you look in the mirror. Who and what are you thinking of you? And who else is coming to mind? And if someone else is coming to mind, my guess is, or a situation, circumstance, or event comes to mind, that is something for you to need to release one way or another.
Powerful, Dr. Rhonda. The exercise of being able to reflect, write yourself a letter, forgive yourself, and furthermore, doing the next step, if someone wronged you, then to be able to write them a letter and just forgive them. Not necessarily mail them, but just, expressing that thing from how you feel from the inside. This can alleviate a large portion of the burden, I believe, that people feel, especially. And I think it's a very practical thing. And I have heard it somewhere before, and I think it's very practical. In one of the courses I was doing on leadership, it was the exercise was the same, to write yourself a letter, telling yourself about, greeting yourself, your future self, telling yourself about, oh, see, we have made it. You're here, probably you're reading this. We had this goal in 2020 and now it's 2025. Look at this. And it's just always, it sounds simple, but yet it's very effective. It's very empowering with oneself, because I believe that we always want to feel accepted, or we want to be acknowledged for the things that we do, and still we also in this circumstance we want to be forgiven. We want to just have a peaceful life with everyone, and I think we tend to overlook the aspect of being compassionate with ourselves.
Yes.
And I think it's very interesting. The exercise is very interesting. Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. And I'm curious to just top on that, to just put the cheese on top of all of that. I'm eager to know, what role does faith and self-belief play in all of this transformation that you are hoping to inspire, especially to the listener who probably is young, is a young person, or is someone in midlife? And
faith, trust are essential. There is no bigger role to living an empowered life. We must have faith, have trust, whatever you call it. I call it God.
Yes.
thing higher, the universe, source, spirit, divine,
Mm.
because that's the image we are made in. So if that's so, which I believe it is, why would you look in the mirror and think anything less of yourself? Have the faith that you are made of good stuff, that you are made of solid stuff, the stuff to thrive and not merely survive.
Stuff to thrive, not merely survive.
Many people say, "Oh, you're a breast cancer survivor," and I say, "No, I'm not a survivor. I'm a thriver." Or they'll go on to say whether I'm interviewing them or I'm being interviewed. Yeah. Well, how was the battle with cancer? I said, I never had a battle with cancer. I didn't. I call it an experience, an incident. Once you put that label, battle, whoa, that's the enemy. I still learned. I was blessed to learn and be gifted the incidents of breast cancer. Many people can't wrap their head around that, and that's fine, because everybody's at a certain point in their journey. And at some points, we all say, enough is enough.
Yep.
Enough is enough. What can I take from this? What? Not when someone says to me, what's your why? I said, I have no why for living an empowered life. What is that I'm to learn, take the gift and the blessing. That's because I believe that's what it's about. Once again, it's different for all people. However, I guarantee you, using certain tools to release, to surrender, when you wake up in the morning, are you thinking about the day before? That's your past is a canceled check. The future's not here yet.
Yeah.
So all we have is this moment. It sounds trite, but it's not. All we have is this moment. This moment that we're sitting here speaking with each other, that people are listening, will create the next moment, will create the remainder of their day, the remainder of the week, the month, the rest of this year. We have, much less than 100 days left in the year. So what do you want to do about it? Don't turn the page yet, okay? Because you have the moment. You have the moment to at least sit with yourself and say, God, self, how's it going? Look in the mirror. How are you today? What can I do for you today? Attend to that and be disciplined with it. Many think meditation, exercise, eating properly, whether it's like one of the apostles or not, is, I won't do that. No, that has nothing to do with me. Well, it has everything to do with you. I don't have time. Well, you don't have time not to. Take a look within. Take a look in the mirror. You cannot afford not to.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda. One thing about the SelfSeed, it's always making things practical. And today, you have blessed me with that practicality in like everything you have just said is simple exercises that when one person or the listener tries to practice, even if it's me also, I try to practice. These are things that, they can help us. I remember the importance of pausing before reacting, so that to notice what's, underneath all of these emotions that we have. I remember also you saying that we should be able to change from the why and ask, what is this moment teaching me? And as well as, this aspect of, aligning all our actions, acting with intention, aligning all our actions to what we want to become, our faith, our motives, and everything, just changing the whole perspective. So I think that's very interesting. And Dr. Rhonda, it's very interesting to listen to you, especially with all this. And I believe that if today's episode actually has taught us anything, is that we can't pour from an empty cup. We can pour if we do not have. And we can transform our world until we have first that deeper or internal reflection. If we have been able to go inside and know who we are. I like the part that you give an exercise and say, what you carry after you see yourself in the mirror, the person, who and how you see yourself, that is something important. So this week, maybe to the listener, I believe that it's important for us to take one moment of stillness to look in the mirror, as Dr. Rhonda advises, look in the mirror. And just, it can be like a real mirror or not, but ask ourselves, I think this is me asking myself, what truth am I avoiding that could actually set me free? What truth am I avoiding that could actually set me free? So, Dr. Rhonda, what do you want to leave the audience with? Because the SelfSeed Podcast is all about planting those seeds that eventually we can reap something out of it. For someone listening, a young person or midlife, what would you like them to carry with them?
Any age, those listening, first of all, you're here for a reason. This is no accident. You tuned into this. You're here for whatever reasons. They're your reasons.
Right.
Those listening, understand a couple things. Number one, you are not alone.
Right.
Not alone. Whatever you're going through, whatever situation, struggle, circumstance, challenge, adversity, sorrow, you are not alone. Reach out. Whether it's to me or someone else, reach out. That's up to you if you choose. But you are not alone. I also want to say that, and we've all been there, whatever tunnel we are traveling down these days, our own tunnel, understand that that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train coming at you. That light, it is the truth. It is the guidance. It's the roadmap. It's the way to being the best version of yourself.
Right.
Again, if you choose to. And I have one other thing, Emmanuel. It's my invitation that whether I'm interviewing someone or being interviewed, I invite our listeners, our viewers, to treat life as if it were ice cream and enjoy it before it melts.
Oh, I like the conclusion of that. Life as an ice cream. Enjoy it before it melts. Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda, for joining the SelfSeed Podcast. Thank you for sharing that life is an ice cream. We should enjoy it before it melts.
Yes.
And the light that we see at the end of the tunnel is not a train coming at us. It's actually the guiding, it's the way out. Yeah. Thank you very much. And
my pleasure.
For showing us that we should pick positivity more than negativity, being able to reflect from inside and, seeing the positive side of ourselves, despite the circumstance, despite the transition that we're going through. Yeah, so for listeners who wants to connect with you, this is also a spot where you could share how they can connect with you. Sure. And I think that's...
I welcome comments. I welcome questions. You can connect with me directly. My email is Rhonda, RHONDA, at rhondanow.com. You must put the now. Rhonda at helpmerhondanow.com. My website is www.helpmerhondanow.com. I'm sure it'll be in the program notes. And backed by popular demand, I'm offering a group coaching program. The next cohort begins January 12th. And I think there'll be a link in the program notes.
Right.
So people can peruse that and register if you'd like. Incidentally, the name of it is Fix Your Reflection First and Live Your Best Life Ever.
Thank you very much. So listeners, we heard the self-seeders. We call people listening to the self-seed the self-seeders. So you have heard Dr. Rhonda, and you can connect with Dr. Rhonda. And yeah, be sure to share today's biggest insight using hashtag SelfSeed Podcast, or just send me a direct message on Instagram at Emmanuel E. Saitoti. Until next Tuesday, keep growing, keep reflecting, and keep planting the seeds of the future. Thank you very much, Dr. Rhonda, for joining today's podcast.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.